And I now invite the distinguished representative of the Syrian Arab Republic to take the floor.
Mr. President, my delegation endorses the statement made by the representative of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela on behalf of the Group of Friends in Defense of the UN Charter. We've taken due note of the Secretary General's report in document A/78/901, and we would make the following comments in our national capacity. My delegation reiterates its position as follows. The concept of R2P is merely a theoretical framework, and it's not found consensus among member states. It cannot be used as a waiver to non-interference in the internal affairs of states. These principles are enshrined in the UN Charter, and this concept is controversial, and it is not covered by international instruments which are currently valid and binding. It runs counter to customary law. So regardless of circumstances, this concept cannot be used as a pretext for interfering in the internal affairs of states or to carry out any actions or to impose unilateral coercive measures or allow any action which runs counter to the UN Charter. My delegation regrets the fact that the Secretary General's report has not included a reference to the deep root causes for the commission of atrocity crimes, namely aggression, occupation, and military intervention. My delegation also regrets the fact that the drafters of the report did not give attention to the concerns of several delegations, including the Syrian delegation. My delegation has mentioned its concerns on a number of occasions since 2005 with regard to the concept of R2P, its scope, and its area of implementation, and that it might well be misused, as was the case last year. We hope that future reports of the Secretary General will be more exhaustive and will reflect the concerns and the positions of all member states. Mr. President, we insist that there is a Western unbridled race here at the United Nations and in other international fora to promote controversial concepts which run counter to the interests of the vast majority of member states, including developing countries. And this is not limited merely to the concept of R2P. It also involves other concepts, and this reminds us of theories that were propagated at the end of the 19th century, such as the white man's burden. That was the precursor to a dark era of colonization, which led to 2 world wars and which caused untold human suffering. And the real purpose behind these concepts was brought to light. R2P has been instrumentalized by some countries, exploited by some countries to carry out acts of chaos and destruction, and this has undermined the very concept and undermined discussion of this concept in the General Assembly. Many countries have paid the price because of the manipulation of this concept used for the service of neocolonialist designs, including slogans on human rights, protection of civilians, democracy, etc. The position of some Western countries against genocide and atrocity crimes committed by the Israeli occupation against the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, and these positions have shed light on the hypocrisy and the selective nature, the selective use of these countries of international human rights law and international humanitarian law, and these countries provide media and financial support for the Israeli occupation so that that country can continue to carry out its atrocity crimes in the neighboring countries, including my own. Mr. President, the ultimate right of human beings is the right to life, the right to exist, and yet we are witnessing Western policies which are undermining the very life of human beings by aggression, occupation, and by pillaging resources from countries, in addition to coercive measures which deprive people of basic services including health, education, water, energy. They are also deprived of their security because terrorism and extremism are on the rise, and these countries use this concept to become involved in domestic affairs of other countries. Everything must be done to make sure that countries do not fall into poverty and hunger, rather than carrying out wars under the slogan of R2P. These issues are very urgent in today's world, where poor people, people who need help, people who are suffering from hunger, the IDPs, and the homeless are in the hundreds of thousands. The Western world is wasting billions of dollars on absurd wars. Thank you, President.
I thank the distinguished representative of the Syrian Arab Republic for his statement.